Each day, viewers, each day the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam prepares and distributes 300,000 laddoos. In other words, if the laddoos on even one day were adulterated by beef tallow and pig fat, then the devotion of at least 300,000 disciples, yes, 300,000 disciples would have been defiled by an act of sacrilege. If the sacrilege went on for several days, weeks, and even months, as some allege, then imagine how many Hindus have suffered the ultimate indignity. But judging from the lack of community pushbacks, one would have thought that nothing had happened. This, remember, is a country where a war of independence was triggered by the talk of beef tallow and pig fat. Perhaps Hindus have become too complacent, viewers, or they've become resigned to their second-class citizen status. Either way, had someone from the state perpetrated a sinful act of this proportion upon the Muslim community, they would have been besieged. They may have even paid the ultimate price. Not that Hindus need to react with violence, but they must at least ask for the basics, a modicum of accountability. 24 hours have passed and no action has been taken, no suo motu direction by the court, no questioning, no raids, nothing. No one, it's quite clear, takes Hindus seriously. Perhaps because, viewers, Hindus don't take themselves seriously. This even when the new members of the TTD have come out and made some more fresh, distasteful revelations about what transpired under the previous regime. The TTD executive officer, J. Shyamala Rao, has come out and said pure ghee is expensive, but cheap rated ghee was used by the previous administration. It is understood everywhere that cheaper the cost, the poorer the quality. That was the case here. National Dairy Development Lab in Gujarat's Anand, which is a highly reputed lab, exposed the abnormalities. All parameters in NDDB report clearly show violations. It was contaminated with various kinds of animal fats. We immediately blacklisted the vendors. Penalties will also be imposed and due legal process is also being followed, unquote. Worse, those in the opposition, the YSRCP Congress that was in power when allegedly the desecration of the prasadam was taking place, has calmly passed the buck, viewers. Jagan Reddy, ex-Andhra Chief Minister, has come out and said Naidu, the current Chief Minister that is using this as a diversion. He has dropped to a new low, lying in the name of God. Ghee acquired from vendors has always gone through tests. Process of ghee procurement is transparent. Only NABL certified companies are allowed to participate. TTD also conducts its own tests to check products. The same report also said that false positive result can also be obtained. Now, viewers, a false positive result can be obtained, of course. Everything is possible. But that would usually happen when the quantity of the adulterant was just above what is acceptable. Unfortunately, viewers, for the YSRCP, the adulterants themselves are in huge quantities, in very, very big quantities. And let me also tell you, viewers, that there are other problems with this theory. And that problem is simply that, viewers, whatever you might say at the end of the day, all these denials will be examined when and if the probe gets underway. But there's no doubt that the lens is once again on the opposition. For justifiable reasons, the opposition has once again been left defending the accusation that it has been casual with protecting Hindu interests, that it cannot be trusted with protecting Hindus, and there is some truth to this, viewers. The Tirupati Prasadam sacrilege wouldn't have happened had the Hindu community had the same rights as their Muslim counterparts. But from the beginning of independent India, Hindus have been discriminated against in law by predominantly Congress-led governments. Now, viewers, I will never, ever make any charge such as this without giving you the hard facts. And this time, I'm bringing out the hard facts, which are very pertinent to this particular case. Because of rank appeasement of the Nehru government, Hindus have been deprived for decades of control over how their donations will be used by the state-run temple boards. But while the Hindus were deprived, and here are the hard facts, and they're going to come up on your screens, viewers. While the Hindus were deprived, the centre expressly gave this right to Muslims via the Dargah Khwaja Sahib Act of 1955. So, viewers, Hindus, when they donate to a temple, they don't know, they have no control over what the board, the temple board, which is run by the state, will do with that donation. The state can take it, viewers, and use it on another temple. They might sit on it for years altogether. The devotee who has donated has no control. On the other hand, because, as I told you, of the Dargah Khwaja Sahib Act of 1955, the Muslim community, their disciples, their pilgrims, have absolute control over how their donations will be used. Yes, viewers. And I am going to now read out the bylaw 18 of this particular Khwaja Sahib Act. The Dargah Khwaja Sahib Act, bylaw 18 of 1958, and it says, and I quote, all nazars and offerings, whether in cash or in kind, made by the pilgrims or others to the Dargah, shall be earmarked for the purpose indicated by the donor. So if the donor wants the floor of the Dargah to be polished because of his donation, it has to be done. Here, viewers, you put your money in a box and you don't know how it's going to be used. Now, let's look at hard fact 2. While the state doesn't mandate halal certification, the National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, the NABCB, provides accreditation to, quote, halal certification bodies, unquote, under Quality Council of India to allay fears among Muslims that their food is kosher. So Muslims, when they are consuming, know that their food is halal certified, and the government facilitates this use. But similar moves to extend the right to Hindu community groups so they can issue a Satvik or a Sanatana certificate, however, have been opposed. So have moves to call upon eateries to display names of their owners. You know this happened, viewers, just a few days ago when the Yogi government decided at a district level where some of the yatras were going through, there to ensure that Hindus were getting kosher food, the shops that were making those food items or retailing them would display their names clearly. Now, viewers, these are but 2 examples. From 1948 to 1952, the Nehru government introduced a series of bills to codify Hindu personal law but kept the personal laws of other minorities untouched. Then there was the Places of Worship Act of 1991, passed by a Congress government, that prevented mainly Hindus from reclaiming their places of worship that had been usurped from them by colonialists. The Karnataka AHRNCE Act of 2024, just a few months ago, viewers, under the Congress-led government in Karnataka, proposed to seek 10% of the gross income of 87 temples with an annual income of over rupees 1 crore and 311 temples with an annual income of over rupees 10 lakh to be transferred to a common pool. The bill was returned by the governor. All through these instances, the Hindus have kept silent. They have accepted their second class status because in independent India, the Congress ecosystem labeled any Hindu demanding the right to speak for the community or for themselves as part of a community was branded a revisionist, a Sanghi, a Bajrangi, a Hindu fundamentalist. The time has come to put the Hindu back into the Indian, my friends. And towards that end, let's debate tonight, viewers. Let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions. The YSRCP spokesperson is here. Kamru Chaudhary is here. Dushyant Sridhar, a Vedic scholar, is here with us. Rahul Ishwar, an activist who has also been at one point on a Devasthanam, is here with us. Vishnu Shankar Jain, an advocate for Hindu interests, is here with us. The who's who, viewers, is here with us. But I want to begin tonight with Vishnu Shankar Jain. Mr. Jain, your reaction to the claims made by the TTD in Tirupati, these latest claims made today just a few hours back. How do you react to it?
See, according to me, this is a very unfortunate incident which has happened in Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Being a devotee and bhakt of Tirupati, it's very saddening for all of us, and it is very disheartening, and it has actually played with our rights enshrined under Article 25 of the Constitution of India. I have been to Tirupati, and many of the devotees have also been to Tirupati, and to know that we have been fed with beef and fish oil, it's absolutely disheartening. It has violated my right under Article 25. And apart from that, I personally feel and I believe that it is the right time that Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, this act which has been passed by the government, this must be abolished. It should be given, this temple must be freed from the government control, and it must be given to the original Shibayats, to the original devotees, and they must have the right to manage. I also want to see and cite here the contradiction which is there in our constitution. If our constitution is secular, then how can the governments acquire temple? How can the government control the temple?
Yes.
And how can these temples be managed by the government? It is absolutely shocking. It is in violation of Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution of India. And I strongly believe, and my legal opinion is, that it's the right time that all the temples which are within the government control must be freed from the government control. It is so shocking that there is a halal certificates which are being distributed by various sections and various organizations in this country. But we don't have a system of having Sanatan certificate, of Satvik certificate, of Om certificate. So it's the right time that we all think as a community about the way forward. And this is an incident which has shocked the religious freedom. This is the incident which has shocked the rights which are enshrined under the Constitution to the devotees.
But Mr. Jain, Mr. Jagan Reddy says that the current chief minister is playing politics. How do you assess the opposition's response here?
See, the problem is with the opposition that we do not see the laws which have been passed in this country and the contradictions which are there in the law. Now, let me cite something very, very relevant here, Rahul. There is one law called the Dargah Khwaja Sahib Bylaws 1958. Under section 18 of this bylaw, the devotees of Dargah Khwaja Sahib have the right to choose as to what will happen with their offerings. This kind of right has not been given to any of the devotees. So for a moment, if you see the analysis, how the Hindus have been discriminated in this country, for a moment, let's take out this debate from the realm of what Jagan is saying or what the other leaders are saying. But the law which has been formulated by the parliamentarians and the legislative functionaries of this country is so violative that we see the Places of Worship Act 1991, we see the Waqf Act 1995, we see the Dargah Khwaja Sahib bylaws of 1958, as well as the Act of 1955. So it is so discriminatory on the face of it that Hindus and the devotees feel betrayed and cheated, that their temples are within their control, and there are so many laws, one after the other, which are against the fundamental features of the constitution. Rahul, I want to strongly say here that why are we forgetting that era, that we are living in the country that when on the basis of Greece cartage, there was at one point of time, there was a revolution in this country because of the Greece cartages issue in 1800 century. But today we are seeing, we are living in an era that we have been fed beef and fish in our prasadam, but we are actually talking about politics. We are not thinking about this issue as a community issue, as a civilizational issue. And Hindus in this country have been forced to be 8th class citizen, 9th class citizen continuously. And when any government tries to take any step, like for example in the Uttar Pradesh, a step was taken by the Uttar Pradesh government to display the names of the shops. Those orders were stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court. I'm shocked and pained, and I want to highlight today on your show that please see the issue of example of temple in Andhra Pradesh, where Sri Shalam temple, where the Andhra Pradesh High Court had recorded, Rahul, that the prasadam and the devotees and the shop owners which are there outside the temple are from the other section of the society, and they are feeding beef, and they are not doing they are impurring the prasadam and the flowers of the temple. This was recorded by the Andhra Pradesh High Court in Sri Shalam case, and the issue was that these shops must not be sold to the members of the Muslim community according to the secular principles, because these shops fall within the temple premises. But that order was also stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court. So the point is, Rahul, the fault line is in all these debates is the word secular and socialist, which has been added in the constitution by 42nd Amendment in 1976. And all these things, all these debates which we are talking about, the front line of defense is that this is valid according to the principles of socialism and secularism. I want to take you to the era of Vedic era, when Acharyas and Rishi Munis used to do worship and tapasya.
Yes.
And we used to know, we were taught that in those tapasyas, what used to happen? The Rakshasas used to come and pour flesh. Same thing is happening today in our temples. If we are worshipping, if we are the devotees, in our prasadam, beef and fish oil is mixed. And the saddest part is that these prasadams were taken to the Ram Mandir temple also. So it is so shocking that if we want to have a defense on these debates, the front line of defense will be, Rahul, that this is protected by the principles of socialism and secularism.
Remember how I began,
viewers. This kind of dichotomy has arisen in our constitution.
Okay, let me tell you how we began, viewers. I began by saying that every day 300,000 laddoos are produced. If this has gone on for years, just imagine how many people have found themselves. Perhaps if the reports are true, viewers, and the claims are true, all of this, of course, has to be cross-checked, and there's going to be a probe. Imagine how many people's astha has been mocked here. Dushyant Sridhar, before I bring in Narayanan Murthy, before I bring in Rahul Ishwar, I want to come to you very quickly. I want to also bring in Mr. Kamru Chaudhary. We have some time, so we're not running away. But Mr. Sridhar, how do you see this? I am shocked here. Many Indians are shocked. But the YSRCP is in denial. They say this is just not possible.
Namaskaram, Rahul, and namaskaram to my fellow panelists and the viewers of News 18. 750 years back, a polymath, a great acharya called Vedanta Deshika says in his stotra to the Tirumala Tirupati Devata Sri Venkateshwara Swami, Ahamasmya aparadha chakravarti karunetvam cha guneshu sarvabhaumi. Oh Bhagavan, I am the king in committing mistakes. The acharya doesn't say it for himself. We are those who have committed mistakes, because Hindus are spectators and we ourselves are responsible for these problems, Rahul. If we get to the root cause, 2 weeks back, while the debate was about a 1,500-year-old temple of Tiruchendurai in Tamil Nadu, which was belonging to the Waqf board, that's what the Waqf board claims, that was the debate 2 weeks back. Last week, it was about pelting of stones. Nothing happened. This week, it's about the laddoos. Next week, we'll get something else and I'll come on your channel. So Hindus are responsible for their own problems. Instead of blaming any other community, I would take it upon ourselves. We finally give it ourselves up to 200 units of free electricity, 1,000 rupees of bus. And this is what we deserve. And above all, Rahul, if you ask me about the report, I sincerely pray, let there be 2 or 3 more tests done. let it come as untrue, because if it is going to come as a concurrent truth through various research, it's going to shatter the minds of the devotees. And one important point, Rahul, people do think, oh, why do you have to create a veg and a non-veg? No. As per the constitution, everyone has the right to eat what they want. But in temple rules, we have an agama rule called as the Vaikhanasa Agama, which governs the Tirumala Tirupati temple. You'll be surprised, Rahul, they won't even use red chilies. They use only pepper. They don't use oil. They use only ghee. So these are the rules that have been documented in the last 1,000 years in a book called Tirumala Olugu. That is the kind, this temple finds reference in Rigveda, Arai Kane, Dikate, Girim Gacha Sadanve, Shirim Bidasya, Chebishtve, Chatayamasi. And today, Hindus are told there could be traces of beef, there could be traces of fish oil. I do not know if the Kali Yugam has begun or has come to an end, because we have reached the pinnacle.
Well, let me bring in the YSRCP spokesperson, Mr. Narayanan Murthy. Mr. Murthy, thank you for joining us. I have to ask you this question. How can the YSRCP today think that it is completely above question and above suspicion? Let me tell you, sir, that, and here are some facts, that the YSRCP Jagan Reddy government appointed, as you know, the CM's uncle to head the TTTB temple board. In 2021, he had to do a U-turn after uproar over the uncle's alleged anti-Hindu leanings. The uncle had to come out and say, no, I am actually a practicing, faithful devotee. Right, sir? This is not to be disputed. Then, viewers, in 2023, Jagan appoints Karunakar Reddy, despite his alleged Christian leanings. Reddy's daughter married in an overtly Christian tradition. This is also a fact, viewers. The YSRCP government could have been a lot more sensitive to Hindu sentiments. Could you not have been, sir? Then, the KMF demands a higher price to continue supplying the ghee. The TTD did not agree to the terms. The ghee contract is awarded to another company. A 50-year-old tradition is done away with to skimp on money donated by devotees for temple welfare. So, this proves something, isn't it? Mr. Murthy.
Can we go one by one?
Yes, sir, please.
Can we go one by one?
Yes, you can.
Now, the firstly you asked me, uncle of Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu is very, very, very prominent, serious devotee of Lord Venkateshwara and Hindu. He has 5 to 6 cows, different cows in his house, to pray every day, prays morning, every evening. I am live witness of that, the process, what they do every day, the lifestyle. And this is totally the oppositions. It's very bad, in fact. Very sad and very bad oppositions throw allegations like this. It is very bad. The other one, Karunakar Reddy, is a pure Hindu man. The other chairman of TTD, Tirupati Tirumala Devasthanam, pure devotee of Lord Venkateshwara. Not even he has done before 2004, 2009 time also as a chairman of TTD. And now, let us come to the point. TTD has their own system to check each and every ingredient used for the prasadas. This is no way connected with government of Andhra Pradesh. And the TTD is having autonomous body. They will take their own decisions in the meetings. Whatever the members and the EO and chairman together. Now, in TTD, not only from AP, but also from all various places, various states, members are there in the committee. And this has very prestigious demand even central ministers and sometimes PM and different states CMs all request for the membership in this board. That means these all responsible, whatever happening in this Tirupati. We should keep it in mind first. Then the thorough check. I'll tell you the manual check of ingredients used in prasadas.
No, I don't want to go there right now.
Committees.
One second. I don't want to go there right now, Mr. Murthy.
No,
just 1 second. Forget about that. One second. I want to pick you up on 2 or 3 points you have made.
Let me tell you.
No, what is the point of telling me what the ingredients are?
Ask them to wash.
No, 1 second.
No.
1 second. Just bear with me, sir. Have some patience. Listen to what I have to say. Sir, your connection is as it is very weak. There is a problem in comprehending. There's a delay. Listen to me. Just give me 30 seconds. I'm not going to take more of your time. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Sir, you said that people in the TDT had their own labs. The TDT says, and I want to bring in Rahul Ishwar on this, the TDT says that it doesn't have the kind of expertise in-house to check for the various adulterants. It had to therefore go.
It is
Now, please let me finish, sir. You can respond. I'm not stopping you. They had to go to Gujarat, one, to do this. Number two, viewers, he says that, oh, you see, the first TDP chairperson is very, very dharmic person, asthika, this, that, the other, because, you know, he has cows and all of that. Now, viewers, if a supplier is saying that, look, we are going to jack up the rates to supply you, and you've had a relationship with that supplier for 50 years, you trust that supplier. People also trust him. You could not set up a diary on the TDP. No, 1 second, sir, let me finish. On the compound, have some cows. The chairman can have 10, 20 cows. You couldn't have set up a smaller diary to augment?
550 cows are there.
Sir, then you couldn't have increased it. You couldn't have created an ecosphere. Do you know how much money is donated to you, sir, every year?
That's what I'm telling you.
So you couldn't have spared a little bit of that money? Where were you taking that money?
That's what I wanted to tell you.
No, what are you telling me, sir?
Let
You
me
gave the
speak,
contract to
then you will
somebody else.
understand.
That's why we are in trouble today. Rahul Ishwar wants to come in.
Let me speak.
Narayanamurthy sir, the point is different. Just hear me out for two submissions. First of all, it's a very hurting, paining thing that we have heard as devotees. This is not political, but there is a spiritual, cultural dimension to it. I, along with my family, traveled to Tirupati some months ago, and even for the newborn baby, we have been giving this. So it's a sentimental thing for us that really hurts our astha, our culture, our belief. That's the point. Second, there is a larger issue of Hindu community not having rights over our own temples. Just like my good friend Vishnu Jain said, the Article 25 and 26 above of is violated. India got freedom from British in 1947 led by Mahatma Gandhi, but our temples have not got freedom from the British system. They started, virtually in my state, Kerala, back in 1812, where temples are controlled by the government. British wanted to weaken the Hindu movements. That's the reason why they wanted to have control over temple. Even right now, our devotees don't have a right and control over temples. Just like our Christian brothers have right over their church, or Muslim brothers have right over their mosque, Hindu community is not having any rights to govern and administer our temples. This is a very serious issue. Second, when such an allegation is raised, we need to have a judicial inquiry. We need to have a sitting judge in a high court inquiring this. But rather than being dismissive, rather than being accommodative, just listen to the Hindu sentiments. That many people are simply dismissing it. See, we don't care about politics of either Jaganji or either Naiduji. We simply, as devotees, are concerned that such a painful thing has happened. As
But
Rahul
Rahul Ishwar, let me ask you this. 500 crores, Rahul Ishwar, 500 crores are annually made in money by the sale of these laddoos. Are we saying that somebody who comes and says, let me increase the rate a little bit, you couldn't have diverted some of this money, this 500 crores, to say, okay, inflation has caught up, we will subsidize you. But what you do is, you give the contract away to a person who's telling this channel that, we cut our rates to make the tender process, and then we were thinking of,
And
you see,
ultimately, just
increasing
one
the
more
volumes.
point.
Yes.
Tirupati is one of the richest shrines in the whole world,
There you
not
go.
only in India, of any religious place. And second, just like Vishnuji was earlier telling, in Shabarimala case, you may remember, devotees had to fight with the money from our own hands, whereas the officially government administered Devasam board fought against Shabarimala in the Shabarimala case in Supreme Court. Just imagine the plight. The Devasam board took taking money from Shabarimala to argue against the very board. So internally there is no control, and I hope more sensitivity is needed, more power and control.
Rahul Ishwar, let me put it very bluntly.
This is a wake-up call.
You know, instead of milking the cows so that they could get the milk that was required, you were milking Hindus.
Exactly.
For your profits.
Exactly. Beautifully.
That's what they were doing.
Beautifully.
Because they had no regard for these Hindu sentiments. And that's what brings me to the next question. And I'm going to ask this of the Congress sympathizer here, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary. Mr. Chaudhary, I have to ask you this question. Is it wrong then? Is it wrong then for people to say that opposition parties like yours, like the Congress, can't be trusted to protect Hindu rights? Look at your track record, sir. And today, as Rahul Gandhi even tweeted on this, he calls himself a Janayudhari Brahmin. Where is he on this story?
Rahul, if you permit me, though you have come to me at the end of your debate, but I believe you will have that much courtesy to give me uninterrupted time before I
Just
come to
answer
your
the question,
issue.
sir. Please don't give this lecture. No one else has done so. Please,
No,
and they've
then
got
you
all the time.
carry on,
Get to the point.
Because all through the entire debate, you were talking about beef and fish in the ghee that was used to make the laddus, but you never talked about the pork that was used in those ghee. That hurts the millions of sentiments of Muslims also. Why are you trying to subjugate the entire issue out here? This ghee that was supplied to the Tirumala temple
listen,
board.
hang
No,
on.
wait,
Just
wait,
first of all, what
wait,
kind
let
of
me
a foolish
finish.
point is
This is
this?
the context of
No, what kind of a
finish.
foolish point is this?
You may think that
No,
is
what
a
kind of a
but
foolish
that's
point
very
is this?
important.
Now, hang on, just a
Because
minute.
what?
Just
Because
a
of
minute.
the
Viewers,
prasadam. No,
viewers,
I'm
look at
not
your
going to
screens.
stop.
Look at your
Because
screens. It's all
don't
there.
add
It's all
insult.
there. The fact that there was
Don't add
beef,
insult.
one second, beef fat was found in the ghee, pork, fish oil, everything is there. It's on your screens, viewers. Now, please, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, pig lard used in prasad. Please, don't try to divert.
Now, no, I'm not diverting.
It's there, it's on your screens.
Your panelists have diverted it.
It's on, no
And
one
that's
is
my
diverted
point.
it. Now you're changing your, no, hang on. I want to ask you a question. You tell me, why should Hindus trust the opposition to look after their interests when, even on the issue of what people do with their donations, you have discriminated? This is a question. Nehru discriminated. His government passed this law.
Rahul, my argument is that if the Hindus have failed to take the control of their temples by themselves, why compare that to the Waqf board of the Muslims?
I think
Why
this is an
go into a
objectionable statement.
waqf-outry?
This is an
Why go
objectionable
about
statement.
it the
You have
way
been
you
allowed
do?
by the state, sir.
openly
That is the
insulted
beauty
by
of it.
Why
You have been
take
given
the
special
Why
preference.
take the Places of Worship Act?
Then
Sir,
why
you're
are you, no, hang on, then why do you oppose the Waqf Act scrapping? Let's scrap the
Openly
Waqf
insulting
Act.
us.
Yes, Rahul
You're
Ishwar.
openly insulting us.
You-
Kamruji,
that's
with
why-
due respect, you are openly insulting us. No, I don't
Only
expect
the
a Congress
halal
person to do
soaps
that.
and halal
You are openly
candles.
insulting us, saying our goodness is our weakness. Our goodness is that we allowed government and all these things to take care, but
Rahul,
we
I
have
told
been
you
denied
my
all
only
the special
argument was
privileges
that
that were given to other
my
communities.
only
You are
argument-
openly
Don't hurt the
insulting
Hindu
us.
community. No one has given you the license, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, to do this. This is very wrong.
No, you cannot go on whataboutery and link.
What do you mean, what about tree? I'm sorry, but
Why-
the Congress
why
gave
are
you
you
special
linking with the
privileges.
Waqf Act?
You are
Why are
only
you
getting
linking
the
with the
right.
Dargah?
No, hang on. You are
Why
only
are you
getting the
linking
right
with
to
the
run your own
worship
places
act?
of worship
What has
because
got to-
of
what
a
has got to do
scam,
with the Hindu
a legal
outsider?
scam, viewers.
What has got to do with
It
the
isn't
Hindu
got to do
outsider?
anything with anything. It is a legal scam. That's
you
what it is.
organized a
And
debate,
it has been born
you
out
look
of
at
a sense
everything.
of
You brought in
appeasement.
Article 25 and what
Do
was
not,
Article
Mr. Chaudhary, tonight try to. No, don't blame the Hindus. Stop doing this. You blame the Hindus when they are at the receiving end. You blame the Hindus when.
Not in the halal certification for soap. I request all Hindus to use halal
Okay,
certification.
Vedic scholar,
soap.
1 second. The Vedics, and I also want to bring in Vishnu Shankar Jain on this legal point. 1 second. Dushyant Sridhar wants to come in, and on this opposition point that Kamru Chaudhary is raising, I'll bring in Vishnu Shankar Jain. Yes.
Rahul, very quick intervention.
Yeah.
Kamruji and I have participated on many panels and many TV debates. My namaskarams to him. But as a fellow human being, as a fellow Bharatiya, at the outset you would expect he's a devout Muslim. He has sentiments for fellow Hindus. You would expect him to say, "When Hindus are hurt, I feel hurt. This should be investigated." How long does it take for a fellow human being to say that? Rather, he ends up pinpointing the Hindus, stating that, oh, the Waqf board, so it that's very insensitive. I felt as a very Hindu, I felt it as very insensitive. And Rahul Ishwar's speeches I follow very intensely. I have immense respect for him. But at the outset, he said something I found. He said, "I didn't expect the Congress to do this." So I found that statement. Who else can do it to the Hindus if not the Congress?
Okay, well, let me just bring in on that point, Vishnu Shankar Jain. The charge is that opposition parties like the Congress cannot be trusted with protecting Hindu interests. Do you agree, sir?
Absolutely. I'm saying it with a strong sense of responsibility. The opposition is completely not having any kind of interest to have any protection for Hindu interest. And kindly see the conduct. If you want to judge any opposition, you have to judge the opposition by the laws which they have brought during their tenure. This law which I am citing in front of you today, Dargah Khwaja Sahib Act of 1955 and the bylaws of 1958. Who brought this law? Whether there is any such law for any section, any other section of the society, who has brought the Endowments Act in Karnataka in 1997, in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra Pradesh, Tirupati Devasthanam Act. Who has brought these laws, Rahul? Who has brought the Places of Worship Act 1991? Who has brought the Waqf Act 1995? Who has brought the Sachar Committee? Who has brought the Minority Commission Act 1992? So, and the Minority Education Act 2004. So all these laws, if you will see and read, it shows that the majority community in this country have been forced to be a second-grade citizen, and whenever they try to raise their voice is curbed on the touchstone of secularism.
Well, viewers, there is a pattern here. Judge through actions. I'm not going to say anything more because Kamru Chaudhary will get upset. He'll say something. I don't want to. Just go out there, viewers, and check which governments have actually brought in laws that disadvantage one community over another, one religion over another. Do your own homework. Come to your own conclusions. I have given you certain hard facts. If you find a problem in one of those hard facts, get back to me. I'm on Twitter. You can contact me here. You can challenge me on my facts, on my research. But viewers, my research is unimpeachable. What I'm telling you is the fact. Now, you can have all the facts, but you can sit on them and do nothing about them. That, viewers, is the trouble. That is the trouble. I give you actionable facts. Use them. Go to the courts of law. Demand the basics here. Accountability, nothing more. And if you are not going to make those demands, then don't blame somebody else who has taken the system for a ride and taken you for a ride. Don't. I need to move on, viewers.